There's always something. It is holding the weight of the joists, it is structural, and it's going to cost me a few quid more. So nothing's ever simple, is it? But you know what, let's get on with the rewire, and I'll worry about the wall downstairs another day. I'm Cameron, a DIY obsessed, home improvement and renovation freak. I've been renovating and modifying properties for over 10 years, and I'll take on pretty much any DIY task throughout the house. As long as the project's inspiring and interesting, I'll give it a go. I've faced some incredibly tough challenges in the DIY space throughout the years, but none have been as exciting and possibly as difficult as this one. I'll be taking you guys along for the full renovation from start to finish of this 1973 property, whilst we turn it into a modern home for the family. Yeah, I was hoping it wasn't going to come to this, but I did have a funny feeling that it would. Yeah, green goo. Before I do that, I'm brewing a custard cream. This DIY won't give up without a fight. This is the renovation. Now the cable's not terrible, but some of it is starting to show signs of green goo, like this one here. You can see there is some green goo in the top of the rows there, and it's starting to present itself in some of the fixtures as well. So that, mixed with the fact that we've not really got any sockets in the house, that to me tells me that I need to rewire it. So a lot of you said in the last video, if I don't rewire it now, I'm going to regret it later. And I think you're right. I think whilst the house is in the condition that it's in, it's well worth the rewire, even though it's going to cost me a lot more money than I originally thought when I bought the house. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to rewire it. I guess we better make a start. So normally, if you wanted to do a rewire in an empty property, you would put your knockout box probably just where this old socket is here, and change that from a single knockout box to a double one. However, because we're living in the property, we don't want to have the electrics off, and we want to do the rewire in different stages so that we can continue to live in the property and use the electrics in the property. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to install the new circuits, all the new boxes, all that kind of thing. We're going to run all the cables, and then we're going to connect them all up to the new consumer unit and do a switch over. All we then got to do is fill all the old holes. So essentially we can rewire the property while still using the property and living in the property. And that's why it's actually going to be easier for us to rewire the property in a way, rather than extending the ring, putting more sockets in, adding different circuits in. If we just start again, it's going to be a lot easier to run those wires to the board and then connect up. So far we've done a bit of a plan, and what I'm going to do now is mark out all the sockets. I'm then going to work out where I want the cables to go, how we're going to get them back to the board, and I'm then going to go around and I'm going to chase all the sockets. I'll do all the donkey work, and my mate, who's an electrician, he'll come in and connect it all up. So that's the plan. We're going to do the spare room first. So let's get the rest of this carpet up, get some floorboards up, and figure out where these cables are going to go. So I've got some more of the floorboards up now, and I've got an idea in my head of where I'm going to run the ring, and then where that ring is going to go through to go to the next room as well. So now we're on to chasing out some of the sockets. So I'll get the drill, do a bit of chain drilling, knock out the plaster, and then we'll see what's behind it. It's like a really strange kind of texture, this stuff. It's just very, very brittle, a little bit like clay. There's always something. Now I'm cracking on with sinking knockout boxes and chasing the walls and all that fun stuff. And whilst I'm doing it, I thought I'd have a look to see if I could see the top of that downstairs wall, to see if it's structural or not. And unfortunately, don't know if you can see that, you can see here the joists change direction. So they're going that way at the moment, and right where that wall is, which is under here, the joists change direction. It is holding the weight of the joists, it is structural, and it's going to cost me a few quid more. So nothing's ever simple, is it? But you know what, let's get on with the rewire, and I'll worry about the wall downstairs another day. Whoa. The dust is incredible. That is one of the biggest challenges with doing a job like this whilst you're living in the property. So Rewire's going pretty well so far. Got all the sockets chased out upstairs on this side of the house. I'm now doing the drops down to the lounge below. If we go through here, got that one to do still. If we go through here, same again, got all the sockets in here, so pretty happy with that. There's a lot of dust in here at the minute. I've got that door taped off, trying to keep some of the dust in. That wall there, that's the one I showed you in episode 1, where we had a walk around the house that I wanted to remove straight away. Well, yeah, that's the one where the joists are sitting on top of that wall. So unfortunately, that does mean I'm going to have to get a structural engineer in and go through building control, which is going to cost me a bit of money. But there we go, that is stuff that you come up against when you're renovating a house. So the rewire down here, you can see I've got a drop down to a double socket over here, and then this one over here, there's actually going to be a media wall going in there. I'm going to move that one across slightly and run a new cable up next to it, so there'll be a double over here and there'll be another one put in on the other side of the wall, because obviously that wall is not going to be there anymore. Right, so I now need to finish drilling through so that I can feed the cables through up into the floor space above. There we go. I don't know whether you can see that, but there is a hole going all the way through into that floor space above, so we can run the cables down here and then into our box. If you look here, you've got these clay blocks and you can't fix your knockout boxes into them. So I'm going to show you quickly a way to get around that. So grab some water, spray that into your opening, and then we're going to use expanding foam on a gun, and we're going to spray a bit of that in there first. And the water helps that to harden a lot quicker and actually gives you a much better contact. Obviously I don't want to fill the chase with it, if I can help it. Once you've got your foam in there, grab your box, whack your grommet in first, it's going to be trickier to do that later. And then your box can sit in the foam, and then you want to add a little bit more foam to the back of the box and around the edges of the box as well. Obviously make sure you got the box level and that you're happy with its final position. Now what you will notice is the box might creep forward very slightly as the foam expands, but if you use a low expansion foam, you don't get too much of that. Once that's gone off, that'll be rock solid. You won't be able to move that box. You won't believe how hard that actually goes off. So yeah, that's my top tip of how to fit a knockout box when you've got nothing to actually fix it to. Let me know if sinking knockout boxes into different surfaces is something that maybe you want to see. If it is, I'll do a guide to it on the channel. Right, so that's that one done. Ready to pull the cables in there now. We'll move on to the next one. Right, so we're now going to start chasing out for this socket in the corner. I've moved all the baby stuff out of the way, and I've made a bit of a sterile environment with some sheets, if you can see there, to try and reduce the dust. Try and keep the dust down. That's half the battle when you're doing a job like this and you're living in the house. So we're going to chase out now. This corner I'm working on, the light is pretty bad. I've got the SP4500 from Unilight. It's a mega bit of kit. Yes, we have light. Get a bit of chasing done down to this socket, sink the socket in. Then we'll go upstairs under the bathroom floor and find where the drill comes out, and that will be where our ring then comes down to feed the socket down here. Now we're going to get the grinder and just chase out 35mm all the way up to the coving, and then we'll cut the coving out and we'll drill up and through. Whew. The dust is horrendous. Get a bit more light on the scene. Right, let's get this chase out here. So we're getting up near the top of the wall now. The next thing to do is just grab the multi-tool and we'll cut out a section of covering so that we can get the grinder as close to the ceiling as we can, so we can get the drill at an angle and get up and through into the ceiling space. Perfect. Right, now we can head upstairs and find the hole underneath the bathroom floor, and that'll be this one done. So the top of that wall is going to be somewhere smack bang in the middle of the bathroom floor. So I think a plan of action is get the carpet up, and then I'll measure off a fixed point to see pretty much where the wall's going to be. I think it's going to be somewhere right bang in the middle of the bathroom there. I thought it was going to come up here, but turns out it's going to be the other side of this joist. So we need to get in this side to find the end of our drill bit that came up from the lounge. Right, so we've got some more floorboards up, and if you take a look just there, there is the hole that comes up from the lounge. So we can now run our ring all the way through. You can see we've got holes bored through the joists, and we can run the cable down to the lounge. So we are cracking on nicely with the rewire now. We've got all the floors up, and we have a route back to the board, which is in the garage. I'll show you that in a minute. And we're now going to start pulling in the cable for the sockets. So we're going to run our ring all the way through the hole here. Got all the boards up, you can see downstairs, and pick up all of these sockets in all of the rooms, and then we'll go through the wall there and run it all the way back under the floor to the other bedroom and back to the board. So it's been a long day. We've been at it for about 9-10 hours. We've got the 2.5 twin and earth pulled in for the ring on this side of the property, because like I said before, we're living in one half whilst we do the other half, and then moving over to that half and we'll rewire the other side of the house. We've also got some of the wiring done for the downstairs lights and got the feed in from where the new board's going to be to the upstairs lights. Once I've done this, I've got to go away and do some other jobs, and in a couple of weeks we'll come back to this job. We'll do the upstairs lighting, and the new consumer unit will go in, and we'll see where we go from there. At the moment it's a bit of a nightmare because we've got half the house to live in, and we're kind of living on top of each other at the moment. So it'll be great to get this wire and this side wrapped up and actually be able to live again. And to be honest, with the better weather hopefully coming up soon, I want to see if I can get outdoors and build a workshop, and that is also going to be coming to YouTube. So that is quite exciting, because it's a man thing, right? It's a man cave. So right, I'm going to leave it there. I'll pick up with you soon. So I hope you're enjoying this episode so far. If you are, do me a favour, pause the video, go down below to the comments and let me know what you want to see in future episodes. So the guys from iHeat have just rolled up, and they're now planning out where they're going to run the gas pipes and where they're going to take the gas from for the new boiler. You can see up here I've taken some of the ceiling down for them so that they can run the pipes across to the new boiler.
We're here with iHeat. We are cutting out this old regular boiler. It's a floor standing Worcester CDI. We're going to get a lovely 8000 Worcester on the wall. It's going to look absolutely beautiful. We're cutting out all the pipes, the filters, the pumps, running it over the ceiling. It's all being cut out for us very nicely, and it's going to go on the wall, look really good, and the pipe's going to run underneath, all nice and neat.
So I'm just whipping these cabinet doors off so the guys can run their gas pipe low level so that they can get the gas pipe to the boiler.
To me. To me.
So So now we've gained a cupboard, I'll probably build some shelving in here, put a little radiator in there, and the missus can dry clothes and hang clothes in there, whatever she wants to do. So pretty happy with that. Let's go down and see how the guys are getting on downstairs. Picked a lovely day for it. The guys are now going to be removing the old boiler, taking that one out and getting the new one in. I'm just whipping this old gas heater off the wall. Whilst the guys have been doing the boiler, they've put a new gas pipe in, which leaves this one isolated. So I'm safe to now take off this old gas fire. I want it out of the way anyway, because there might end up being a telly on this wall, and this whole thing's in the way. We're nearly there. Where are you up to?
Boiler's on wall. We're testing the pressure to the boiler. All seems good for here. We've now got a magna cleanse going on this side.
So the guys have done an amazing job. The conversion's all done. Just let us know what you've done. Run through it for us.
So, boiler's all installed. As you can see, absolutely beautiful boiler. The Worcester 8000, we've gone for a 35 kilowatt model. That's because Cameron's plans for the house. He wants to add another ensuite on and a few more radiators. We've basically gone from a standing Worcester Green Star CDI regular boiler, took it out, took out the old filter, the old pump. Everything's now gone. The cylinder upstairs is gone. The cold tanks in the attic. Everything's gone now. It's just this one combi boiler on its own, does the whole system.
So I'm really happy with the new boiler. It's a mega bit of kit. You'll see more about the heating system and more about the rewire in a future episode. So I hope you've enjoyed it. If you missed episode 1, it's going to pop up on the screen now. Go and check it out, and I'll see you guys in the next video.